Well, duh, it's under 2 hours. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, sometimes a once-in-a-lifetime moment rolls by and you just can't ignore it. And the first ever official sub 2 hour marathon is one of those moments. Not only by one athlete, but 2 and 3 athletes going under the previous world record. And I just don't think people understand how fast this is.
It's Sarway versus the clock. He's going to do it. We are going to see a legal sub 2 hour marathon.
Funny enough, the very first official marathon world record was 2 hours and 55 minutes back in 1908. So in 118 years, which is the entire history of the marathon, this is the first and almost certainly the only hour barrier we'll ever see broken. Because if they eventually do run under 1 hour, I don't want to be there to find out the type of person to do it. The sub 2 hour barrier had first been theorized back in 1991, when the world record was still around 2 hours and 6 minutes by Brazilian Ronaldo da Costa. And through the years, as it continued to slowly progress lower, human impatience got the better of us, and we tried to force the inevitable quicker with unofficial exhibition attempts. Using the greatest marathoner at the time, Eliud Kipchoge, as a champion of sorts. First failing in 2017 by an excruciating 26 seconds, but nailing its second time in 2019, going 1:59.40.
Eliud Kipchoge, on his shoulder, 1:40.
Both efforts done under extremely curated conditions, including an optimal course, new shoe tech, pacing, drafting, nutrition. The list of optimal conditions was endless. All the while, the official world record was slowly chipped down to a 2 hour and 35 second time by the late Kelvin Kiptum, a bright shining talent like we'd never seen before. Marathon runners tended to peak in their 30s, but here he was, 23 years old, on top of the world after only 3 marathons. Everyone thought he was going to be the guy to break the 2 hour barrier. He would pass away months after his world record in a car crash, aged only 24. And I felt like all of this context was important to mention, because at the time of his world record in 2023, which at the current date was less than 3 years ago, none of the 3 athletes who beat his record today had ran a single marathon. A truly disturbing example of just how fast time continues to move. And the 3 athletes were Uganda's Jacob Kiplino, the current half marathon world record holder, Ethiopia's Yomif Kajocha, who won silver in the 10K at last year's World Athletics Championship and also held a very short-lived half marathon world record. And lastly, Kenya's Sebastian Sawe, who in his first marathon last year ran the fastest debut in history. And through the first half of the course, it was quick, but nothing indicating world record. Each of the first 4 5-kilometer splits hovering around 14 minutes and 20 seconds, coming through halfway in 1 hour and 29 seconds, which was a projected finishing time of 2 hours and 58, just shy of Kiptum's world record. And while an early pace this quick might ring world record alarm bells depending on the course, historically, London isn't one of those courses, often known for having a slower second half. So while they continued the steady pace over the next 10 kilometers, 14:20 and 14:22, they would reach the 30-kilometer mark, a distance commonly known as the wall. Yet at a distance that has the highest fatality rate in running, Sawe and Kajocha would actually speed up, dropping Kiplimo in the process. And continuing into the next 10K, they would put rubber to tarmac and lay down the fastest 5-kilometer splits of this entire race. A mind-shattering 13:54 and 13:42.
Records, a 4:12, wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm desperate. Oh my word. They are absolutely flying. They're inside sub 2 hour territory. They're both absolutely flying. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm nervous about what we're seeing right now.
If you're a runner of any sort, you already know how fast these 5K splits are. This is what elite 5K runners hit fresh, and they're doing it not even mid-marathon, at the tail end. But if you're not a runner, and you happen to be like me, these splits kinda just go in one ear and out the other, let me lay it down for you. In 2025, only 625 men ran a faster 5K fresh. That might sound reasonably high, but that's 660 people out of a population of 8.8 billion. But if that doesn't sound impressive enough, that was fast enough to qualify for last year's 5,000 meter final at the World Athletics Championships. And don't even get me started on if we simply combine the splits to make it a 10K. It becomes 27 minutes and 36 seconds. That time would have placed them top 50 in last year's world rankings and won last year's 10,000 meter world championship title, in which Kejelcha came second in that race. And after a pace quick enough to win a world championship title, Sawe would drop Kejelcha, who was running his first ever marathon, and managed to muster up a final surge, making these final kilometers the fastest of his entire race into the first ever sub 2 hour marathon.
Just wondering, was anyone going to ever break 2 hours in a true run race? It's Sawe versus the clock. He's going to do it. It's the world record by nearly a minute.
Sebastian Sawe, 1 hour, 59 minutes and 30 seconds, splitting an hour 29 for the first half and 59.01 for the second. Running the second half nearly a minute and a half faster, a strategy only applied to the marathon since 2023 after Kelvin Kiptum did it. And behind him, Yomif Kejelcha held on to a 1:59.41, the second man ever in history to go sub 2 in the fastest marathon debut ever, and even Kiplimo in 2 hours and 28 seconds, under Kiptum's 2023 world record as well. I hope during my small rant I got the message across of just how fast Sawe's and Kejelcha's finishing 5k splits were. But those were just their best splits. The reality is, the entire race's average are absolutely disgusting. Sawe specifically averaging over 42 kilometers, a 5k pace of 14 minutes and 10 seconds, an average mile of 4:33, 2:49 per kilometer, 68 seconds per 400 meter, 34 seconds per 200 meter, and 17 seconds per 100 meter. Pick your poison in how you convey the speed of this race. It's silly stupid no matter how you look at it. But running 17-second 100 meters 420 times in a row sounds pretty damn nuts. Previously on this channel, I haven't covered roads of marathon. I usually follow the news of it, but hand on my heart, this was the first time I ever sat down live to watch an entire marathon, and it was this one. And because of that, I can't properly explain the intricacies of the course, the fueling methods used, which was averaging 100-ish carbs per hour through some gel, his insane mileage, running 220 kilometers per week, which is astronomically high, or even how supposedly the new Adidas shoe saved him and Kejelcha 50 seconds because they're 30 gram lighter than competitors. What I do understand is numbers. The game is changing at an accelerated rate. From the 20 years between 1986 and 2006, the world record moved 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Compare that to the last 20 years, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. We've just broken this barrier, but this isn't the world record's final form. This was one of the most iconic moments in sports history, and in an insane premonition after Sawe's debut of 2:02, Adidas felt he was going to break the world record, so to put it bluntly, they drug tested the shit out of him. I don't really have much to add to that, I just think this is crazy. So in conclusion, and in line with the title of this video, I have a special challenge. Go out there and run 400 meters in 68 seconds for as long as you can, or whatever one of these splits you think you can handle. When we watch sport, and any sport, we take for granted how easy and smooth these guys make it look. Because I guarantee, until you do it yourself, you don't realize how superhuman these guys are.
How many laps do you think you're gonna get?
Do I look big and jacked? I really expect one. I think not only because of the Achilles. I mean, I've just never been that fit. I think I could get 600 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, 600. Die at 8. Two, 1, go.
That's about pace. I can feel the chest infection. I got pace. I was actually paced all the way around 600, but I was like digging deep.
I know, I could tell.
Yeah, and I also started so hard. I hit like the first 100 in 14 seconds,
And then I was even quick to the 200. They run that for a marathon.
Also glad to see Andre de Grasse back. Congrats to Gabby Thomas and her sub 11, do it at sea level now, and the World Shot Put series was banging. Bye.